Greetings, gamers. Tim here again today, and it's RPG a day, day 9. And I missed yesterday because Saturdays are my gaming days with my friends, and so I tend to spend a lot of the day out of the house and away from my computer and the webcam and everything else. Now, day 8 was what is your favorite portrayal of RPGs in other medias? And that's a rather difficult one because I have not been too happy with a lot of the portrayals of role-playing games in movies, TV, that kind of thing. That's not to say that they're bad, it's just that they somewhat miss the point, and many of them take cheap jabs at our hobby for the sake of easy laughs. You know, oh, look at the nerd. Yeah, you're right. I think my favorite, however, is probably going to be the first role-playing game episode of Community. I don't remember the name of it, but Community managed to handle it in a rather interesting way and still get the point across rather well. It still has, some cheap laughs here and there, but it is not as bad as most of them. There are a couple other portrayals, some positive, some negative, in other media. I know that the Dresden Files presents one set of the werewolves as being D&D playing group, and they bring in Dresden himself. But that's not really my favorite portrayal, because they just mention it in passing, and rarely is it actually brought up. But the Community episode is definitely my favorite. Now, RPG Day 9, which is today, is what is your favorite, setting from other media that you would like to see as a role-playing game? And for me, there's 2 words. I'm going to repeat them. Mass Effect, Mass Effect, Mass Effect, Mass Effect. I desperately would like to see an official Mass Effect role-playing game. And the fact that we haven't, instead we get the lesser of BioWare's 2 original settings, Dragon Age, drives me completely nuts sometimes. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Dragon Age per se. It's just another dark fantasy role-playing game setting with elves and dwarves, and yeah. But Mass Effect, that's more unique. It's more interesting because it's more unique. It's space opera. It doesn't necessarily stand out from every other space opera out there, but it's unique in that it is a good space opera setting, at least its basics are, and it coheres most of it all to all of its super science down to Mass Effect fields. And that works. That makes it a really good science fiction setting, is that it takes one science, pushing the boundaries, and expands that out to give you faster than light travel, to give you unique weapons, to give you psychic powers. They're all tied to Mass Effect fields. And that works really well for me. And it's a shame that we don't have an official tabletop RPG. There is a fan one that is fantastic, but it's a fan one, and as a fan game, it doesn't have the impetus of the official stamp. That doesn't make it bad. In fact, it's a fantastic game and is deserving of some accolades itself. But at the end of the day, because it's not official, it can be stomped on at any time and ground out, and that's a problem for me. I would like to see that one get an official stamp, even though I know my friends are not fond of the system that one is based on. Now, there are several, mind you, so I'm speaking mostly of the Fate one that came up under some awards voting recently, because it became an issue with those awards because they didn't know what to do with a fan product that doesn't have an official license, because that's basically taking someone else's property and saying, I made this thing with this property of yours. Like I borrowed your car and turned it into a sculpture. It's frustrating as a creator, but I understand as a fan. So It's one of those things. But yes, we should have a Mass Effect tabletop RPG, and the fact that BioWare hasn't licensed it out is insane on so many levels. If you're gonna license out your other setting, your least original setting, well, mostly, because they've got Star Wars too, but your least original setting of the ones you created, why not the one that's the most original? Why not the one that, sold 3 full games, very, very well for several years? I mean, yes, now Dragon Age has 3 games too, but to me they're just not the same. They're not. They feel very much like they were the B team's creation rather than the A team's creation over at BioWare. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but it just feels they feel a little less smoothly created as Mass Effect. But whatever. Anyway, I babbled on. So you've got my opinions on these 2 days, the 8th and the 9th. I'll see you again tomorrow to do the 10th, and until then, peace and good gaming.